We are waiting on our YouTube to go live. We are good to go.
Procedure, and hopefully, but do correct me or chime in if anything goes wrong. In any event, I call the meeting to order, and the first order of business is to approve the minutes. May I have a motion, please, and a second? I can't hear you, I'm sorry. Thank
If we
you.
can use our green lights and lean into the microphone when we're speaking,
have-
please.
Thank you. Is there any discussion? Go, Dr. Free. So I'll repeat, is there any discussion? Okay, so I will call for a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Opposed? Okay. So now we'll go on to the next order of business, which is to welcome Elizabeth Shue, who is a new member of the commission. Elizabeth, thank you so much for joining us. Do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself? Yes.
Yes, you'll hit the button on the right. It'll turn green.
This one. Okay. So my name is Elizabeth Chu, and I have been in Charleston for about a year and a half as the CEO of the South Carolina Historical Society, just next door in the fireproof building. And I'm honored to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
Well, thank you for joining the commission. So now the next order of business is okay. So we're going to be considering the ordinance amendment that was created at the last meeting. It reflects the changes the committee requested at the last meeting. Therefore, to begin the discussion, we will need a motion and a second.
So move.
Is there a second? Second. Thank you. And now we can discuss the revision or the amendment to the ordinance. Is there any discussion? Yes.
I have one question that doesn't relate to the amendments. Unfortunately, I was not able to meet the meeting last month, so I wasn't involved with the discussion. Was there any thought to making multiple year appointments with staggered terms? Right now, the reason I bring it up, right now, we have a lot of institutional memory or whatever about the commission and the things that we've done and this and that and the other. And theoretically, I mean, I don't think it would ever happen, but theoretically, somebody could, the mayor could decide, I'm going to remove everybody who's currently on the commission. I'm going to appoint all new members. Mm-hmm. And it would be kind of like the article that was in the editorial in the paper about North Charleston and its city council. There would be no institutional memory. So a way to avoid that would be to have, 2-year terms or 3-year terms or whatever, and then stagger them so that there would always be members on the commission, even if the mayor removed other members. So was there any discussion or thought about that?
I think the only discussion, and y'all correct me if I'm wrong, was the opportunity to make sure that various institutional heads were involved with this commission, hence Elizabeth's joining the committee. as well as I believe there were several other institutional heads, executive directors or CEOs that have been suggested, obviously. But other than that, I don't believe there was any discussion that I recall. Do y'all remember anything about staggered terms? No. Is this an amendment you would like to make?
No,
to
it's
this ordinance?
just a question as to whether or not, there had ever been any thought to it. Because even under the old law, or the old ordinance, it was 1 year and you stayed on until you were replaced. And so it just dawned on me that I guess it triggered by that article maybe, or that editorial about saying, you do it all at one time, you end up with people on there who don't know anything about the history of the commission. They may know other things. But what other people on the committee think? I mean, I'm not pushing for it. I was just asking the question, really.
Madam Chair, Lady, there's always a risk of that. And I've been on a few years, but I've never seen a time when we had wholesale departure or new membership that would have affected that, but potentially it certainly could happen, especially with the change of the mayor. I mean, at his insistence, it could be happening overnight. I'd like to think that won't happen, but potentially it could.
Well, and I guess the question there is that since the mayor does have the opportunity to appoint everyone, that they would take into consideration institutional knowledge and want to have some people on the commission that are, that have been on it for a while. I think what's gratifying to me is that this commission hopefully is growing, because I do feel that sometimes there are only 4 or 5 of us who are making decisions, and there should be more people around the table. And having, the opportunity to have lots of different voices, to me is very important. So I understand exactly what you're saying in terms of institutional knowledge. I'm facing that at the Gibbs right now.
Right.
But I don't know that it necessarily has to be baked into terms, into the number of years of a term, and when people rotate off and when they rotate on. I do think that, at least my experience, and I think y'all's too, is that our elected mayors do take that into consideration. I mean, all of us have been on since Mayor Riley was mayor of the city of Charleston, and we've remained. So, so that's my thought there.
It was just a comment.
Is there any, yes?
Just, I look at the agenda and the item says consideration of an ordinance. It doesn't say to take an action to approve or further modify or comment on, just consideration. But Madam Chair Lady, if we do make a statement of any kind, and I think we would for the record to show that we have approved or not approved of what we have, we could include the comment that in order to conserve institutional knowledge under circumstances that we can't describe right now, we would encourage those involved in selection, because it's more than just the mayor, involved in selection, consider the value of overlapping terms.
Or staggered terms, perhaps?
Yes, better
Staggered
word,
terms,
yes.
yeah.
Staggered terms for appointed members, just advice. If we make a statement other than yes or no.
Well, how does everyone feel about that? Do you want to add that to the ordinance or make it a request? How would that,
Go in the ordinance.
Yeah,
how would that work?
not the ordinance, but
Not in the ordinance.
in our
but-
response to this request to consider.
Right.
So one of the things we might be able to do is we can always bring back that as an additional amendment at a future meeting. If you would like to do that, we could approve this at this meeting, so it could be advanced to council, and then we could come back with an additional amendment for the commission to review with staggered terms, if that's what you would like. Or if you want to discuss it today and amend it today, we can. but those are two different options.
I mean, I think it would be helpful for us to think about what those staggers would be, so that we can give some direction in terms of maintaining institutional memory. Like David, are you planning? Okay. Would that be sufficient? Okay. Does that have to be in a motion?
No, we can bring the approval of the current
ordinance.
version would need to be in the form of a motion second and a vote. But any additional changes we can always bring back at a future meeting. We don't
Okay.
need a motion for that.
Is that the end of discussion? Are we prepared to vote?
I would say that if you're talking about staggered terms, that would be 1-year terms, 2-year terms, 3-year terms, whereas now it says 1. And that gives the mayor and his advisors all the leeway to remove somebody that he or she doesn't care to keep. And if you make it a 2-year term, well, we have to think about what that means to us as individuals. It's not only an allowance, but it's also an obligation.
Mm-hmm.
And the
And not
obligation,
just for us, for others too down the
Yeah.
road.
the obligation would become a 2-year obligation rather than a 1-year obligation.
Mhm. But this would be part of the future discussion to make an additional change. Okay. Any other questions? Yes.
Just wanted to, I think we should concentrate on this, see how it turns out if, in fact, some of the new appointed members even come, and then we can
See how
go
that works
to the
out.
next thing that
Right.
if we want to talk about.
Right.
But I think we should give this a while and see what happens.
Okay. Any other discussion? Okay, so then I think we are at a point of voting. All those in favor, please say aye or raise. Opposed? Okay, the ordinance is passed with the idea that we will come back again at a future date and talk about the potential for staggering terms of the commission members. Okay. So now, yeah, thank you. Okay, so the next item on the agenda is the October meeting date. Apparently, October 1st, which is the current meeting date, may have some issues. And so we've been asked to come up with an alternative date on a Wednesday in October. And
May.
so I'm happy to entertain, would the 8th be appropriate, the 15th, or the 22nd? Does it matter how early in the month?
I will mention that this is movement because of the holiday of
Holiday
Yom
on
Kippur.
October.
We could also potentially move the time up on the same day, I believe.
There was a discussion about a joint meeting with another commission. If that's materializing, or is that yet to be determined, or are we talking about that date now?
That was the discussion to meet with the Arts Commission, or no, the Reconciliation Commission, yes.
Discussion was ongoing and
Right.
unsettled at our meeting. So is that still a factor for consideration?
I hope it's under consideration.
I meant for October.
Oh, for October. I'm not sure that we had discussion specifically about October, did we? You are planning it. Okay. So therefore, I think we're okay to go ahead and set a date for October for this commission, and then we will plan a date, hopefully before the end of the year, with the Reconciliation Commission. Yes,
It's the 8th because we're getting into Halloween and all kinds of other things.
no problem. Is everyone in agreement? Is that fine? All right. All those in favor?
We would have to motion and
Oh,
second.
I'm sorry. Motion.
I'll move
The 8th at 4:00?
4 o'clock.
Second, please.
Second.
All in favor? Thank you. Okay. So now we're down to old business. And the discussion that we have had about the development or the bodies that are under the YWCA, the update and discussion. Dr. Frazier? Yes.
Dr. Frazier, if you could put your green light on and
Yes,
speak
please.
into it.
The group respect and protect and respect the bodies has submitted a memo in connection with its request for consideration of this matter by the commission. And I think it's a very good and detailed document that summarizes what the position they would like the commission to adopt. And I reviewed it and can't come up with anything else that I would like to add to it with regard to recommendations for the commission to accept. And if there are no objections, I would move that the committee accept the recommendations made by the group for in order to move forward.
This is just an
Doesn't
update
matter.
and discussion. I'm not certain we could,
I can't hear you, sir.
this is just an update and discussion. I'm not certain that we could take any action specific regarding this apart from perhaps adopting it as an official document.
This is a report and a memorandum to the commission that makes specific recommendations. I don't know if you read it or not, but it makes specific recommendations that are under the paragraph recommendations. I don't know if the commission members have had an opportunity to read those recommendations or not, but they seem entirely rational and reasonable to me. As a result, I'm moving that the commission move forward with those recommendations.
Jennifer, would you like to come up and speak to that, please?
Madam Chairman?
Let's hear with the clerk of council.
So even though I know I think the commission can make a recommendation if it's so minded to do so and vote, because it's not a final action. It is just a recommendation. So we
Yeah.
can't.
Okay.
Everything we do here is recommendations.
So Dr. Frazier has asked us to take the document that he has supplied through his conversations, correct?
Yes.
With various stakeholders, and to determine whether this is a recommendation that we would like to make to city council in terms of how this body would work in terms of this particular project. Y'all want to take some time to read it more carefully?
I have a question. So are the recommendations that the History Commission do these actions?
Yes.
Okay,
That's the motion,
got it.
Yes.
Thank
that
you.
we adopt the recommendations of the,
So not the City
protect-
Council, but the History Commission.
right.
So what we would be doing is.
The recommendations stated within
Correct.
within the memorandum.
So we would be committing ourselves to these actions.
Yes.
Essentially doing these.
Madam Chair, Lady, I don't know if you have a second for discussion, but
Well, I think, do we take a motion?
Is there a second?
We have to have, Dr. Frazier has moved. We need a
I've
second.
made a motion. Is there a second?
Second. Okay, so now we can have discussion. Thank you.
well, I think it's proper for him to make this motion, for us to proceed with these recommendations, but I think we should discuss each one individually because there's some obligations on us. If we just take this as a group, we may read it later on and say, my goodness, what have we gotten ourselves into? So, Madam Chair Lady, I would propose that we take each bullet and spend at least a couple of minutes on each one, saying, what does this mean? We understand there's value in it, but is it something that our commissioner as members really want to undertake? And is there an obligation then on the commission itself to report out to anybody? We have to look at each one individually to know that.
I agree with you on that. How do other people feel?
I don't have a problem with due consideration of each item, recommended. I thought that, we had all read it, and as a result of it, we're prepared to, they're mainly procedural, items. They're not, definitive statements of any kind, regarding the property. But some of these things, review the College of Charleston's recently issued historical report. I think we've all have seen that and have had a chance to read it. So I don't know how much discussion there should be or could be about that. The state has indicated that it will hold hearings regarding this. And so we can't do very much about the state's official action on it. And we're asking them to make a presentation to us on it, on the matter, so we'll be even more fully informed. I would say that there's not too much discussion about that point. Attending the hearing, of the state hearing, I don't know whether it would pose a problem for anyone, particularly if the hearing is not local. It might pose problems for people. So that, I think there should be some discussion about that. And the College of Charleston's upcoming meeting on the 22nd, where the recommendation is that we attend it. I think that would be appropriate as well. Collaboration with the Human Affairs and the Reconciliation Council on a joint resolution is in process. At least the chair, both chairs had, I think, agreed to confer with each other regarding a statement, a joint statement. So I don't see much that could be debated there either. The only outstanding question is attending the meeting, the state meeting, which may or may not be local, I'm not sure.
Can I ask you one question? Is the HARCC another city commission? Okay, thank you.
Yes, that's it.
Yeah,
That's
thank
the
you.
Affairs and Reconciliation, I think, Commission. I don't remember the name of it.
That's correct. It's the Human Affairs and Racial Conciliation Commission. It is a commission, one of our bodies here at the city of Charleston.
Well, Dr. Frazier, I think first and foremost, oh, I'm sorry,
I
David.
just have a point of order. This was given to us this afternoon, at least, I'm sorry. That's a point of order. I said this was given to us this afternoon. It wasn't on the agenda. There was going to be recommendations or whatever. And I'm just asking for clarification as to whether or not, I know what you said a minute ago, but I'm just asking for clarifications as to whether or not it is proper to be dealt with at this meeting, not necessarily at a different meeting, but at this meeting.
Is there any more conversation about that, Peggy?
Well, I don't know about anybody else, but I have a rather full calendar this month. And I don't want to be committed to meetings that I'm not sure I can even attend. And I don't mind attending them. That's not the issue. But I think it's asking a lot without, as David said, just sort of springing it today. Thank you.
Anyone else? So, I mean, I understand what everyone is saying. I think the conversation here is about time and about thoroughness, so that we understand the issue. This issue was brought before this body and will be brought up before this body again. And we all have to educate ourselves, because at the last commission meeting, it was really the first time I had an opportunity to delve into this question. So Dr. Frazier has outlined a number of activities that we can do individually to find out more about this, this particular issue. And I think we can work amongst ourselves either to get the reports from these meetings to read, or to attend the meetings directly so that we can hear other voices from our community. And I think, could we rely on you, Philip, to sort of help us create a calendar so that we can figure out who can go when and where, or what reports we can actually receive and read?
We could certainly do that. If you all would send me your schedules and such like, I can absolutely put together something that would be able to coordinate like that.
Does that make sense to everybody? Okay, we have homework. Does that satisfy your thoughts, Dr. Frazier? Mhm.
The only recommendation I was concerned about was the state hearing,
And that
because
would
I
be
did
something to
not
tell
know where
about.
that would be held, or whether it would, commit members of the commission to have to travel and that kind of thing, to be informed about what the state had done. In any case, one of the recommendations is that that we make a request that the state give us a report on its action. And I assume that would include any information that came out of the public hearing, wherever that hearing might be held. And so I'm hoping then basically that we're using these recommendations to more fully inform ourselves regarding this issue and the city's responsibility for the care and protection of history and those who've gone before us. So that is basically what this says, and I'd hope we could act on it and move forward to gather more information.
So that will require a motion, correct? And we have to phrase that motion. Does anyone want to take a stab at it?
I believe we have a motion on the
Oh.
floor already from Dr.
The
Frazier.
motion's on the floor and there's been a
Seconded.
second.
You.
Is there a need to amend the motion?
Did some,
The current motion is to accept the recommendations as stated in the memo that was distributed before the meeting, and you all should have in front of you right now. They are on the back of the document. Those are, I can read them all out loud if we'd like.
The various,
The points.
is that necessary? I don't think that's necessary.
It was a request to treat the recommendations separately instead of as a group.
I'm sorry, David, I can't.
I know I've got a problem
I'm
with my
sorry.
throat. I think Dale moved that each one be dealt with individually rather than as a group.
Just as a matter of our discussion, I preferred that, but not part of a motion.
So perhaps the motion might be rephrased that these are all events that we should take advantage of in order to educate ourselves about this issue. And that we will be given the dates and times of these events or reports that provide us with that information before this topic comes to this commission again. Does that make sense?
Dr. Frazier, would you accept that as an amendment to your motion?
And I- Okay. I just think we need to be a little more specific in how we get this information, because I don't think this whole body is going to be able to attend all of these things together, or, so some of us are going to be able to go to some of these meetings. Some of us are going to have to read the minutes from these meetings. But the point is that these are the 5 activities that we need to use to educate ourselves on this topic. Do y'all agree?
Have we received, I feel stupid asking this, but have we received the historical report? It's this one that we just got that we haven't read yet, right?
No.
This is it.
That's it.
Yeah, okay.
So this is the historical. Are we saying that any of these items need more clarification?
Madam Chairlady, I think the point is, this document was not in our hands at our last meeting,
Correct.
and it was made available in several different ways. I got it off the Preservation Society website. And I believe, Philip, did you send this to everybody here?
The historic, let me see, historic preservation research.
Yes.
Yes, I did send that to everybody in an email when I sent out the original agenda.
So essentially, we're looking at a syllabus here and how we put this material together and, either attend the meetings or read the meetings or the minutes from the meetings. But I believe that Dr. Frazier is presenting that to us to educate ourselves about this topic.
May I make a comment? This is my first meeting, obviously, and I'm a historian and I'm not as familiar with the process and the hearings, but I have read the research report, and the documented connection that the report has made between the Atlantic slave trade and the burial ground at 106 Cumming Street is extremely important and maybe unique in the United States. I don't know that there's another documented cemetery where those who did not survive the Middle Passage that we know are buried there. So this is an extremely important issue for us to be informed about, I would say.
Yes. So with regards to your motion and the second, again, should we modify that to simply say that these are the 5 either events or documents that we need to attend or read in report form so that we can inform ourselves about this topic before the next meeting where the commission discusses it, whenever that is, which I assume won't be until November.
I mean,
Yes.
I just have a couple of comments. The first one obviously is totally acceptable because we should have done that before this
Right.
meeting. So I have no problem. The next two relate to a state agency that we don't fully understand exactly what their role is going to be. So I think it's somewhat presumptuous to request that they make a presentation to us. And therefore, the idea of those two, to me, if we were voting separately, I would probably vote no, because I don't think that that's really our prerogative to, I mean, obviously you can ask anybody anything, but the reality is, I think that's a little bit overboard. Obviously, to the extent that anybody on the commission or anywhere else wants to attend the College of Charleston's meeting, that's certainly okay. And the last one, I would just say that that's a presumption that we will agree to collaborate on a statement with a commission that we have never dealt with before. And would not be willing to assume that we're going to reach some agreement with them as to whatever language we want to do with regard to our ultimate decision. So that one would not be a good idea, I think, either.
Well, I think to
But those are
some
just my
extent,
comments.
the last one was brought up at our last meeting with regards to working with the HARCC to come up with a joint approach or statement about the burial site. So I think that we've already committed ourselves to that.
The minutes reflected there was an agreement to talk or to get
To talk,
together.
yes.
But that was collaborating on a statement is a presumption that that would occur. That's all I was getting at.
Mhm.
Madam Chair Lady, to support that argument, the very last aspect of the fifth bullet is that we would forward recommendations to convene a community engagement council. Well, we can't agree now that we're going to do that later. First time it's been seen in our commission. It might be a wonderfully worthy thing to do. But
Mhm.
we can't commit to that.
And can you point that out to me where?
Yes, ma'am. Last
last bullet
bullet,
point? Yeah.
last term.
Oh, I see, yes.
Community Engagement Council.
Convening a community engagement. Yes, Dr. Frazier.
Call your attention to the minutes adopted earlier, page 5.
Mhm.
Paragraph 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Paragraph 8, on a motion of Commissioner Angela Mack, seconded by the Commissioner Dealing, the commission voted unanimously to continue discussion on the topic each meeting going forward. Resolved to hold a meeting with the Human Affairs and Reconciliation Commission on the topic. I guess I should have objected to my being absent at the vote because I had to leave because of a pressing issue. But that was but I had to leave. I was going to vote for it anyway. So I figured it would be, even though I was absent, I was still present.
I don't.
So
think
we've considered, I think we've
Yes.
considered this issue of whether or not there
Is a joint
would
meeting.
be collaboration with,
Correct.
yeah,
I think the
That-
question is the last.
that's already been adopted.
Is the last part of that sentence where it says in convening a community engagement council. What are you what are you thinking about there? Because it's, I mean, I agree. I don't know that we have the power to convene a community council.
Community
Do we?
council. For elevating descendant voices and convening a community engagement council. That statement, to my mind, brings to fore the question of whether African-American voices should be elevated concerning this issue. The people who were buried in at least one section of that graveyard were, for the most part, African people. I assume that maybe some of their descendants are still around. We, when they dug up the 36 graves on Anson Street under Gilliard Auditorium, there was a significant amount of physical anthropology research done regarding descendants, whether or not any of those people had living descendants in the area. And something of that sort might, of course, be done with regard to the many more people, the thousands of people buried in the site at 106 Cumming. So I would say, yeah, there's very good reason for elevating the voices of the African-American community regarding that site. And this commission would not be acting fairly if it did not try to raise those voices. These may be the descendants of living people, and we need to know more about it. They've already been desecrated before during their lifetimes, and should not have had to. Well, in any case, they've gone home, and we owe it to them. These are the people who helped to build historic Charleston with no compensation during their lifetime. And I think we need to always keep that uppermost in mind. Remember that we're living on what they created, all of us.
Well, perhaps in order to clarify that number 5, it might be possible to end that statement with guidance for elevating descendant voices, because I don't know if we have the authority to convene a community engagement council. Can you?
I don't know that we don't have the authority either, Madam Chairman. That would depend on what the two commissions decided they wanted to do with regard to this issue. It's an outstanding question that is to be determined. And so I don't see why we're trying to resolve it this afternoon when it's something that is the purview of future discussion.
All right.
By those two commissions.
Well, and then with regards to number 2, this is a presentation that we could ask for as a commission if we want, correct? Yep. So the motion is on the table. Is there further discussion? Is everyone prepared to vote? Yes. On the recommendation.
And I was just going to say, if the commission feels like it needs more time to review the recommendations or would like to have the opportunity to have the joint meeting with HARC, there's also the option to defer if you would like to have more time to review the recommendations.
Do we need more time? Okay. So then we'll call the vote. All those in favor of the recommendations as set forth by Dr. Fraser's memo, please say aye. Oh, I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. It's your motion. I'm sorry. Apologies. All those in favor? All opposed? Are there abstentions? 2 abstentions. Okay, I believe it passes, correct?
Yes, that would. The motion passes.
Yes. Please.
Um, in all that we've read, it appears that in totality, those who are buried here, are of all, could be all or any races, not just black. Whereas it specifies in y'all's second paragraph under College of Charleston report, it says a segregated black burial ground. Is there that's a real distinction that,
And that is a specific reference to information presented as in the historical report for page 9 that details how documentation indicates the burial ground was used. And research does reveal that the southern portion of the site was a segregated black burial ground. And that is where the project site is predominantly located. You're correct that there's high probability that there are areas of all types across the site, but there is documentation to support that a higher concentration of black areas are located on the site. Very important.
thank you for that clarification. But I would say, just as I mentioned at the meeting last time, this question goes far beyond the section of this big block that the College of Charleston may or may not build on. Much, much more of this ground is burial and deserves respect. That's just my comment.
To that council. Thank you for that clarification. That helps tremendously. Are there any other comments? Any other issues? Then I believe our meeting is adjourned. Do I need a motion for that?
You do not need a motion.
Okay. Thank you all. Maiden voyage.